Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing exceptionally well. Hope you're all having or have been having a great week, month, time, especially within the cryptocurrency market, and that you're all doing well. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. There are links in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. The news continues to get intenser and intenser. It's not a word, but it sounds like it definitely should be. The last couple of weeks have shown an accelerated rate of Bitcoin adoption, much of which I think has gone fairly unnoticed. Just because people are far more always preoccupied with prices, as we've been going over for, I'm not really sure how long at this point. But if you've been missing it, and I feel so much calmer than the other videos as well, they were quite intense. Hyper Bitcoinization is upon us. Bitcoin is quickly taking over the world. I was reading a number of articles and also things just generally online about the accelerated movements that we're seeing. And it's coupled with a bunch of things, but people are kind of giving MicroStrategy the crown right now, as far as the reason in the news that we keep hearing about this like actual level of adoption. Not sure if you can hear like the robot floor cleaning thing either in the background, but if you can, I mean it's cleaning the whole house. So, and I'm saying that because I can hear it, so I don't know if you can hear it. The point is, yes, the news keeps getting crazier and crazier, and all I can basically try to do is make sure that people understand that all of this is taking place, because we are like, this isn't a joke, like in any manner. We're witnessing the actual like solidification of Bitcoin as it's not only its own asset class, but as one of the strongest asset classes that has ever existed, going way beyond the scarcity and demand and all these other things, just even like the actual like level of the supply, like that there is and that there isn't. The coins that are lost and gone forever, the institutions who are in the space, the countries and the cities and the states and the provinces who are like openly talking about getting into this. If you weren't here or aren't aware, the US is apparently planning in 2025 to begin openly, publicly accumulating Bitcoin. The problem with that is that there already isn't enough for the US to accumulate as much as they want. And when I say US, because I need to clarify this, I mean like DC, like Washington, DC, like will have their own reserve based off of like, you know, like for the US as a bubble, if you will. However, it's also picking up other places that everyone else also wants their own Bitcoin for themselves. Yes, this is what is going to lead us into a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin. Pennsylvania, the state, is stepping into the digital future with bold legislation aimed at solidifying its role as a leader in the emerging digital asset economy. Apparently, towards the end of October, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives passed House Bill 2481, known as the Bitcoin Rights Bill, by Dennis Porter, co-founder of the Satoshi Action Fund, with a blah, 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 blah. I think apparently it went through. Okay. This legislation positions Pennsylvania among states at the forefront of digital asset regulation and underscores its commitment to fostering innovation in the sector while addressing critical issues like economic empowerment and financial inclusion. Part of me wants to believe that that's true or could be true, but we've seen, I think, only two government bodies who have actively like educated their citizens and also kind of winked in the direction of their citizens to go tell them to go buy Bitcoin. But this was, of course, years ago. The amount of people who would still benefit from this is absolutely immense. Like the actual number of people is gigantic. And there's still this really weird discussion. I don't know if you must have seen it at some point or looked at it or whatever. This idea of like being too late into the market. Am I too late? Is it too late to buy Bitcoin? That kind of thing. If Bitcoin's at 100K and you know it's going to 1 million, you're still early. If Bitcoin's at 100K and you know it's going to $3, $4, $5 million, like this idea that people keep thinking that they're late to something is a really weird hindrance to them in a multitude of ways. I told you that before for these like TV shows where people are like house hunting. And there was, I mean, multiple times, but there was one couple that sticks in my head. And the guy would not get it through his head that it was okay for him to buy property. He was like, no, am I waiting like until like prices drop down? And of course prices went up, and it's just kind of like, stop waiting, just act, just do something right now. The bill enshrines the rights of individuals and businesses to self-custody digital assets, operate blockchain nodes, and conduct transactions without interference from municipal ordinances. That sounds like almost nothing, but it's actually quite important because there have been a number of places around the world where businesses have gotten in trouble for buying cryptocurrencies, as dystopian as that actually is. Running nodes is also something like validating the actual transactions that was also made illegal by a number of countries years. I mean, also, I'm trying to be nice. There are a lot of places in the world where justice of any kind or like actual like rights don't really exist. So I guess that kind of makes sense there. And to be able to conduct transactions as well without like any kind of like outside interference, because there have been, I can count them on both my hands, who have announced before that any company dealing in crypto, they would be like shut down and like their owners would have jail time. And it's like, okay. So moving on, scrolling down. The really important part is following the passage of that law, Republican Representative Mike Cabell and Aaron Kaufer introduced something called HB 2664, called the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act. This was done in the middle of November. If enacted, this legislation would enable the state treasurer to allocate up to 10% of Pennsylvania's general fund, rainy day fund, and state investment fund into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange traded products. Now we're on a state-by-state basis. That's why I said I needed to clarify that as far as I can tell from the news and from the Cynthia Loomis thing that has been proposed, that is meant to be clearly and solely the United States' Bitcoin, like as a whole. But individual states are now coming forward to say, hey, we want to do the exact same thing. So understand, if the US of A in its entirety is trying to accumulate 1 million just for DC, if every other state, because DC is not a state for those of you who don't know, get into it and also try and do the exact same thing, it's just getting crazy. And once again, I'm trying not to rant anymore, but I really want everyone to be on board. I keep telling people, I have this like, the word's not excitement. It's almost like disbelief that all of this is happening like now at the exact same time. As I've said before, I thought we had a couple of years to go before we even got half an inch as far as we currently have. And I tell people, and I mean, people are blasé, no one cares, or they go, wow, that's really cool. All right, well, I gotta go now. And like, there's no, you can explain all of it to them. You can even like put it into their mind that like the world is changing. Things will be measured in Bitcoin. And they go, wow, well, all right, well, I got to get back to work. And there's no, I don't know what it is. It's very odd. I don't know how rich people have found a way to completely disinterest people even within crypto from what's taking place. But yeah, I assume we're going to start hearing about other states. I give it really like 3 months. We should probably have about a dozen states at that point. And yeah, the other videos, like I was saying, every single day there's multiple New countries and businesses who are all announcing that they're buying up Bitcoin or are trying to make some kind of a Bitcoin reserve. And once again, MicroStrategy is apparently, the word's not given the blame, but like everyone's kind of following their lead. This is at least what the news says. That's Pennsylvania might be trying to buy Bitcoin soon. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, this was also like wildly popular, and I guess you'll see why, but it's also like, okay. Bloomberg analyst James Seifert presents potential timelines for the approval processes of exchange-traded funds for Solana, XRP, Litecoin, and Hedera. One, I had no idea that Hedera was even part of this conversation. That's not a joke. Like, I assumed Cardano was lightly in the ETF conversation. Hedera graph bar, hash bar graph. There's been no news about Hedera in years. We had rumors about Litecoin ETFs potentially going through because we had a lot of Litecoin whale news before Bitcoin and XRP completely took over the news in the last month and a half. There was a lot of Litecoin whale news, Litecoin accumulation, potential Litecoin ETFs. The creator of Litecoin came out and he was like, I don't know, wink, we might be getting some wink ETFs. XRP, the idea that Ripple's going public, the stablecoin launching, all these other things. There was just a news story. I think Ripple hit a 5-year high or something like that. And it's all these things going on. And Solana is the hype girl of the century. As regulatory discussions intensify in the United States, Seifert anticipates that the approval process and decisions for these ETFs may extend into late 2025. Seifert noted the difficulty of obtaining approval for altcoin ETFs due to previous decisions made by the Securities and Exchange Commission. People think, if you haven't been here the last 30 videos, that's an accurate number. A lot of companies have begun to file and refile for ETFs that were knocked down during the last 4 years. There are, I think there's another kind of, is it Ethereum options ETF? I think is trying to be approved. There's a Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's an XRP one by, I think, is it Wisdom Tree? Wise Tree? I forgot what these companies are called. There's an XRP Solana one, and there's an XRP Litecoin. I forgot, like a cluster of other different altcoins. And people think, as Gary Gensler has about 4 weeks left before he leaves his position, that we're going to hear that other companies are kind of, going forward with filing it, because the application process should be far easier than it's been over the last 14 years. He emphasized that the approvals of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs are because they were linked to regulated futures, and therefore because of the futures that it kind of gave the SEC more of a, okay, this is regulated by us, therefore we can go the next level. He said, however, the absence of such markets for many altcoins like Solana and XRP could hinder the ETF evaluation process. This was, once again, this news, I believe, was popular because it has Solana and XRP in it, not so much Litecoin and Hedera, even though Litecoin is still very popular as a legacy coin. But the speculation is running amok, running wild. People are waiting to hear when these things are going to get ETFs for them. I assume 2020, I assume mid 2025. He's saying maybe the end of 2025. I don't think it's going to actually take that long. If we get, and I say this lightly, if we get someone who runs the SEC, and I once again need to say, all of them, SEC leaders have been, as far as we've been told and have seen in the news, been monsters in some sort of way. They've just kind of been striking things down without actually caring about anyone or anything. So even if people are excited about the next head of the SEC, they still might be crazy. Like, actually, like, think about it. And also, we have, as far as I know, we got rumors that there might be a shift in that the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, might actually take over regulations for crypto. And we've been told by the CFTC explicitly for 5+ years that if they do, and I air quote here, control the cryptocurrency space for regulation, that they would be a lot more light-handed than the current SEC regulators. So let's see what ends up happening. I'm trying not to get my hopes up. I think what we have now is fine. I think in time, everything else will flourish and come about. But when Bitcoin gets one, then Ethereum gets one, everybody else wants one. And if they don't get it, people get upset. And it's just more like I wish we could just be happy with the things that we have kind of thing. That's the 2025 for altcoin ETFs. Sure. Why not? Thank you, Mr. Seifert. And yeah, let's move on. Also in popular news, Japanese investment firm Metaplanet made popular by announcing last year that they were going to start buying up Bitcoin. They were trying to do the exact same thing as MicroStrategy. I can never remember their name. You know, when I'm done with this news, I am going to forget the name Metaplanet. It's so unmemorable, like in my mind, it has like it doesn't hold any kind of place. Like MicroStrategy like sounds like something. Metaplanet sounds like a card game spinoff, like some season of Yu-Gi-Oh, or like just something like Metaplanet. Like it just doesn't. Anyway, the point is, they originally announced that they were buying like $250,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then there was one like $500,000, then it got up to $1 million, and they became popular as another publicly listed company who announced that they were into Bitcoin, and they said that they were mainly into it because the Japanese yen is collapsing. I don't know if your friends have recently been in Japan, but like 12 of my friends have just been there. I wish that was a fake number. No, like everyone has been going to Japan because the yen has fallen so much that people are going there and they're like staying there for like, I had a friend who was there for 5 weeks and he spent less money than he did at home. It's really insane. So Metaplanet announced that the yen has fallen too much for their liking, and therefore they're going to start accumulating Bitcoin as a way to mitigate or to stop the falling of their monies. So before we heard they were raising $500,000, $1 million. I think the most we saw was like 2 or 3 million. They recently announced that they are planning to raise $62 million through their 12th series of stock acquisition rights, or SAR. Sure, why not? The company announced plans to issue new stock acquisition rights to Evo Fund. What is that? Based in the Cayman Islands, through a third-party allotment, Evo Fund will be able to buy company stock, or was able to buy company stock in mid-December. Specifically, the company is issuing 29,000 units of their acquisition rights, which each unit is blah, 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 blah. And the resulting issuance comes out to 17.8 million yen. I feel like it should be more than that. I feel like that should actually be billion because the yen is definitely off by a couple decimals. I'm pretty sure it's billions of dollars. 9.5 billion yen. I don't know why it says anyway. Yay! Awesome! Very popular news once again. This is the result. This is the MicroStrategy result. A lot of companies have realized that they took too long, are missing out. The last couple of videos, we got like, I think 5 companies per video, like really announcing, we're buying $1 million, we're buying $5 million, we're buying $18 million, because everyone is trying to, once again, front run the United States. So the numbers that we got before indicate that basically, if all this accumulation continues to happen, by next March, the United States will be trying to accumulate the last 500,000 Bitcoin that's left. as MicroStrategy continues to buy like 100,000 Bitcoin like every couple of weeks at this point. So yeah, it's getting hot in here. So take your blockchain off, or I don't know what's supposed to go there. But yeah, no, like this is like, do you understand how crazy this is? Every single company who's even announcing, like even if they just said one Bitcoin, they're like, no, I need $62 million. There was just another one who announced, what was it? Marathon Digital also re-announced that they're trying to raise, I think, another $1 billion or something like that. Yeah, it's getting crazy out here. That's the Meta Planet. I'm going to try and remember that name. Meta Planet is trying to raise $62 million for what they call accelerated Bitcoin accumulation. Listen, I have a feeling the US won't be able to procure 300,000 Bitcoin. Like that, I'm not even half joking. Everyone else is doing it at the exact same time. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Also in the news, Armando Pantoja, an angel investor who apparently has been active in crypto since 2011. That's a very, very long time. Recently challenged the prevailing skepticism around the potential for XRP to go to $100. I need to tell you something, and I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can. Ethereum is going at some point to $25,000 a coin. I don't know who needed to hear that. Bitcoin is going at some point in the future to $1.8 million per coin. XRP at some point is going to be $121 per coin. It's just a matter of when. It's not an if. Is this possible? Is this so-and-so? All these coins over the course of a long-term period are going to skyrocket. I mean, compared to prices now. Got it. There's so much, it's not skepticism. I'm going to try and find a nice word. I've never been here before-ism in the space where people don't understand the actual metrics and workings of these coins. Remember, I told you years ago when I first got into the space, people were like arguing that Bitcoin could never ever hit $10,000 a coin. It's not possible. The market cap would be too high. The idea of a $50,000 Bitcoin made absolutely no sense. Its market cap would be higher than other companies. You can't assume that number. The idea of a $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin made no sense when the market cap was $114 million. People don't, it's not even the vision. People just don't look ahead. It's kind of what's there now, and this is their only reality until things happen. It's kind of like that thing, for those of you who don't know, that humans keep breaking records. Got it. But it's more of a, like years ago in the 1920s during like track and field, or like that thing like where they throw the javelin, people assume that that's the limit of what humans can do. So when someone finally breaks that record, this is a real thing. When someone breaks that record, it makes huge news. How did they do that? How was that possible? No one's ever done that before. Then the next person comes and breaks their record, and it continues, because it essentially, like, we are limitless in what we can do. It's just a matter of us. Anyway, the point is, the discussions right now are floating around a $10 to $15 XRP. And there are a lot of people who are discussing. I think that's kind of become like a given. We know that Cardano is going to $11, $12, $13, $14. We know that XRP is going up to $13, $15, $16, $17. I've seen some people talk about 35. Let's stick with 10 to 15. Cool. We know that Bitcoin is going to $500,000. Like, all these things are just kind of there, but when it comes to the metrics for XRP, there's so much that people still need to learn. And it's not even that I'm an expert by any means whatsoever. It's just more of I followed this coin for so long. XRP was one of the first coins that had a coin burn. Like, the more it gets used, the more XRP gets burned. The more XRP gets burned, logically, the higher the price would go. We know that this coin is being sold to central banks and institutions are using it and they're swapping money back and forth, and XRP is being burned in the background right now. The expectation is when the stable coin fully launches and people are using it in central banks, that basically it would cause the burn to increase by 5,000%. The price goes up, more people buy, the coin continues to get burned. All the XRP that's there now is all that there will ever be, that you can't make anymore, despite what Bitcoin maximalists were trying to lie to people about years ago. Even in the comment section here, it was like a constant thing. I was like, why are you lying to other people? Like, you look like a loser. If you don't own the coin and you don't like it, cool. But to go out of your way to lie to people is like, you need to go outside and go for a walk. Like, you just kind of look completely crazy. So apparently the new thing now that reality has re-entered the situation, as everyone's expecting soon. Everyone's expecting by springtime for Cardano and XRP to be over $5, $6, $7, $8. Springtime. These are the numbers that I'm currently getting. I'm just, just the messenger. But apparently now people are discussing like $100 XRP. It's going to happen. If Ripple is working with all these banks and all these companies and all these countries and all this usage, it may take 7 years, it may take 15 years. No one knows, but it will eventually take place. And yes, Pantoja took to social media to address critics who argue that XRP's market cap would make such a price unattainable. This is the same stupidity loop. I'm sorry for using the word stupidity, but it's the same thing over and over. Like, actually over and over. Bitcoin's market cap isn't an indication of how much money is in the market. Bitcoin's market cap is an indication of the current circulating supply multiplied by the last price that Bitcoin was bought for. That's what it is. A lot of people assume that there's actually trillions of dollars like pushed into Bitcoin. That's not what it is at all. Same exact thing for XRP and these other coins. A lot of people don't look at the metrics. It's the same exact thing before we actually had Ethereum with their coin burn. People were like, what the and I'm like, no, like, it's going to make it deflationary. That's not possible. There are too many coins being created. Like, the burn won't be, oh wait, it's actually, there it is. That's why it kept on making such big news and everyone is like, told you so. Whenever there was like, remember during the summer when the ETF inflows weren't as intense? And I think there was 3 days where Ethereum became, and I air quote here, inflationary again by like a couple hundred coins, and people went bananas. I told you, Ethereum's broken. And I'm like, that prices aren't moving and like interest in the market has dropped, right? Is this really weird, like, told you so-ism kind of thing going on? If you don't like a coin, don't touch it. If you don't want to own it, don't. There are many coins that I think are literal garbage in this market, and I will not own them. Solana's one of them. Surprise. Yeah, I have no intention. I know that it's popular because of all the scams that have been like launched on it over the course of this year. And I'm also also seeing more people talking about that on social media now as well, when they're realizing what these coins were actually for. Right. But I'm not going to own it. I'll give you the news of when things are happening because it's a very popular token. However, I don't want it, so I don't own it. If you don't like XRP, don't own it. Like, no one's forcing you. No one is forcing you. I've implied to you many times that there will be coins that outperform other coins, and that Bitcoin looks like it is poised to potentially hit $30 million in the coming years. But at no point have I said, buddy boy, go and buy this coin. If you don't want it, you don't have to own it. That's what makes you an adult. Isn't that it's so magical because you can do what you want. You can wake up, you can have pizza and ice cream for breakfast, and you can also look at the cryptocurrency prices and go, I don't want that coin because I'm an adult. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So, you don't have to lie to people and all this other stuff. So this will be a constant discussion. When XRP is $26, we're going to have conversations about it going to 100, and people will go, no, it simply cannot 4X. And it's like, okay, so we're going to keep doing this forever because we also have this, what's this guy's name? Is it Peter Schiff, the one who really hates Bitcoin? He's in the news like he has nothing else to do recently. Years ago, he said Bitcoin would never hit 100K. Bitcoin goes to 100K. Bitcoin can never hit 500,000. Bitcoin's never going to replace gold. And it's like, do you like being wrong? Like, do you want to, and I mean like in the weirdest way possible. Like, you're going to go down in history as that guy who like just had no foresight, who just literally was like, I'm like, yo, bro, tomorrow the sun will come up. The sun, it only came up once in our lifetime. It's never going to, oh my gosh, it's getting bright again. Like that kind of thing. If you don't like Bitcoin, just stay away from it. His relevancy is being in the news talking about something that he hates. Can you imagine being remembered to being that person? Like you've been wrong 15 years in a row. You think people are like standing by you? No, you look crazy. Like no one's applauding for you when you enter the room. It's just kind of sad. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope you're paying attention to all the Bitcoin adoption because a lot of people within crypto aren't, and it's really, really weird. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.